Now for the top story tonight, the danger of hacking and leaking. Joining us from Washington, Mark Zaid, an attorney who specializes in whistleblower cases and high-tech intrusion. So the WikiLeaks deal, we saw it again yesterday, all these CIA documents released, about 9,000 of them, is a direct threat to this nation. Is it not, Counselor?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime information, especially classified, is taken from U.S. government or contracting facilities and is leaked without authorization poses a significant danger.
Now, this is a labyrinth here. We have a lot of investigative agencies, the National Security Agency, the FBI, the CIA, Defense Intelligence, and it seems right now that none of them have control over leaks out of their various departments. Do you see it that way?
I mean, it is a problem. This one in particular is going to be very interesting. Now, of course, the government hasn't verified the authenticity, at least not on the record, per se. But the press reports have been that the majority of these documents were unclassified and were circulating among groups or contractors of the CIA, which to me is going to be fascinating as part of this leak investigation, because, what kind of controls are on unclassified information, far different than if it's classified information, and whether the systems are being hacked into or whether people are taking documents out or obviously just verbally disclosing information. But it is obviously a big problem. And in this day and age, when technology is so advanced, when you have the Mannings and the Snowdings of the world, where you just put a thumb drive or a CD-ROM in and you have 1.5 million documents, if that wall and shield isn't perfect, we have a problem.
Well, it's not perfect. Obviously, it's embarrassing. I mean, when the President of the United States has a phone call with the Prime Minister of Australia and the President of Mexico, and 24 hours later the phone call's in the press, I mean, that doesn't get any worse than that. We cannot conduct business as a nation if the President of the United States cannot have a phone call with a foreign leader without it being taped and disseminated to the press. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. I mean, that's fascinating, that obviously, because that's even a different situation from with respect to classified information at one of the intel agencies.
Yeah, that's just eavesdropping on the leader of the country, and that's what happened. Right. And it's insane. And not only
it makes
that,
it difficult.
Not only that, you have a situation where a private citizen, General Flynn, was caught up on a wiretap with the Russian ambassador. And where is Flynn's privacy? Where is his right to not be wiretapped? Where is it?
Well, so that comes into a different situation. So presumably he was caught through an authorized legal warrant and as an incidental capture. Now, that is different, though, from then someone leaking the information, which is classified.
But under the bylaws of the warrant, he's supposed to be protected.
Yes, he's supposed to have minimization with respect to his identity.
The guy's career is over. And I'm not saying
that
what he did was by misleading the vice president. We talked about that last night.
Right.
Okay. But his whole life and career has been adversely affected. There was no minimization. It was bang, he did this. We don't know exactly what was said in that call, but we know that he was on it, and and the aspersions were made that he was doing something wrong.
Yeah, well, and even with some of the others from within the NSC, there have been reports of individuals who have been denied security clearances. Now, that may be interesting, and it may be newsworthy, and maybe it's even valuable for the public to know, but it is a violation of those individuals' privacies. I represent people like that all the time. I don't want my clients
Flynn could go to you tomorrow
on the air,
and he could sue the federal government, could he not?
Well, it's a little complicated in very narrow provisions of whether the Privacy Act applied to that information, and it's a very boring conversation.
I bet you could.
I would represent General Flynn, and that would be an interesting case.
Yeah, it would be, because he didn't have he had no privacy at all, and he was not a government official at that point. He was a regular guy. All right, and we don't, I don't want to belabor the thing, but the basic point is that there is no control now, none. All right, at the federal level, at the highest level, in the Oval Office, all right, in the CIA archives, in the NSA tapping or whatever. There's no control of information, classified information. It could appear anytime, anywhere. That's a disaster. Last word.
Well, there's obviously control, but the controls have some deficiencies in them. And one of the things to cure that would be a more secure and proper system for whistleblowers to be able to go internally rather than externally.
I know it's your issue, but it's an ancillary issue. They cannot protect They being the government agencies, they cannot protect their secrets. They can't. And
they got to work on it.
It's really dangerous for this country. Counselor, thanks for appearing. We appreciate it. Next on the rundown, it is the FBI's job to protect us from hackers and leakers. Is the Bureau doing that? And later, press reports say FBI Director James Comey furious with President Trump. Bernie Goldberg is following that story. Up ahead.